Good morning.
Good morning.
First, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the families represented here. I'm not a member of either family. I'm not a minister. I'm just a friend. And I want to talk to you a little bit about Brendan this morning. And there will be plenty of time later on for you to talk about Brendan too, which I think is really important for this occasion. I'm going to read this because we're limited in time, so if I did it off the cuff, you'd be here the rest of the day. Brendan Joyce, Colonel Joyce, Dr. Joyce, Squire Joyce, Historian Joyce, Mr. Fix-It Joyce, Tomato Farmer Joyce, fearless fighter against garden-destroying vermin Joyce. Truly, this was a man for all seasons, particularly the planting season, and a man with many hats, which you've already seen if you've seen his obituary. This is the time, as I mentioned, for Brendan's stories. I'll tell a couple, and then later you'll get plenty of opportunity to tell your own story. They will be, I hope, truthful, but keep in mind they may be Irish truth, which means they're true, but maybe they don't match up to the facts. I met Brendan 53 years ago at Letterman Army Medical Center in San Francisco when I became a resident in pathology. My training began in clinical chemistry, and he was the clinical chemist. Brendan became my teacher and my mentor. At the time, he was working on his PhD, which he continued to do for quite some time. And I came from an environment where PhDs and MDs were antagonistic. Nonetheless, he took me under his wing, and 12 years later, when I left the Army, I became chief of clinical chemistry in a hospital in Michigan and was there for 20 years. He taught me well. One early experience we shared was when an automated instrument in the lab had a serious breakdown, and we worked together over a weekend to put it in order. Even though he could have handed it over to enlisted men to repair it, he wanted to do it himself, and I was drug along with him. So I think then he realized that I would work out okay, and I found that he was dedicated and knowledgeable, and I could learn a lot from him. In the years following the completion of my training, we went separate ways. Although, as always in the service, you may be assigned in the same place but at different times. For example, I helped open the lab up in Vietnam, the Army lab, and he came later to close it down. After 14 years, I left the active Army, joined the reserve, and he stayed on active duty to serve in several important positions. We didn't see each other very often, but continued to stay in touch. Eventually, he and Maureen retired to Cape Cod, and when Bertha and I were getting ready to retire, Cape Cod was high on our short list of places to settle. We got an invitation from Maureen and Brendan to come take a look. Since we've been on the Cape in the summertime, we decided it's best to go in the winter so we know what things were like. So we decided in January. We drove down from New Hampshire, where the snow was 4 feet deep. We drove through Boston, where it was ice and snow. We passed across the bridge, where the sun was shining, the temperature was 50 degrees, the grass was green, there was no snow, and we had a sudden attack of euphoria. At that point, in 2 days, we found the house and bought it. And it was the kind of house that we wanted to do a B&B in, because obviously Brendan and Maureen did a B&B, so we wanted to do that too. Anyway, Brendan, despite his wonderful nature, neglected to tell us that there really is occasionally some snow on the Cape. You cannot play golf all year round, as we've been told, but so be it. Well, you might ask, how did two people born and raised in the South end up becoming nouveau Yankees on Cape Cod? I blame it all on Brendan. All his fault. However, we settled in, and as in the past, we were guided by our friends. As always, I continue to learn from Brendan. I particularly appreciate his introducing me to Black Bush Irish whiskey. A real learning experience. Anyway, we love to pick up veggies at Farmer Joyce's. It had not been eaten by the moles, fortunately. We became cave potters. We particularly enjoyed the restaurants on the Cape, and one day we found a restaurant in Katuitt called Regatta, and we loved it, and we asked Brendan and Maureen to come and have dinner with us. Well, there was some reluctance expressed, and we found out later that Brendan did not want to go there. Did not want to go that far. It's sorry.
We need a nurse.
Yeah, my defibrillator went off. Anyway. Is there a space out there open? Anyway, we found out that Brendan did not want to go as far as Katuitt, and we found out that he had his own little area comfort zone that he wanted to be in, and usually it didn't go beyond Quivet Neck. So let me finish up here. As I think we all realize, Brendan was a very unique person with a lovely soul, who will be sorely missed by his family, friends, and all who knew him. The likes of him do not come into this world often, and we must consider his life a gift, which we have received, and whose memory we cherish. Now there's a time, we're going to do some prayer, don't you?
No, not at all.
All right.
Brendan thinks you're perfect. Anything you do.
The first is called a prayer. It's been called the Irish prayer, but it's not really a prayer, and I think you will see that as I read it. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away into the next room. Whatsoever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used to. Laugh as we always laughed at the jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effort. Life means all that it has ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolutely unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of your mind because I am out of your sight? I am but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. Nothing is lost, nothing is past, all is well. All is well, Brendan.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Kathy? Take over here.
Come sit with me, Bill.
Okay.
Driving in here this morning, looking at the green grass and the stone walls, I thought of Ireland. So we're going to end with the Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hands.
And finally, we're just going to do the Our Father, if everybody would like to join in. And I feel as though I should say our brother. I call him my brother, not brother, brother. But I won't say our brother who art in heaven. I'll say our Father who art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the
The
kingdom,
kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
Amen.
Firing party! Prepare to fire 3 volleys!
On behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of appreciation for your husband's honorable faithful service.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Joyce, on behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a sign, symbol of appreciation for your father's honorable and faithful service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, on behalf of Maureen and Kathleen and the entire Joyce family, they obviously want to take a moment to thank the United States Army Honor Guard for their presence, and not only their presence, but also for their support that they've shown their family over these past few days. It's greatly appreciated by them. They'd also like to take a moment to thank Paul, who's an administrator here at the cemetery, for all of his guidance in arranging for his funeral services today. They'd like to thank Bill, Kathy, and Fred for their words, and also to thank all of you very much for being here, and not only for just being here, but also for all your love and your support that you've shown towards their family over these past few days. It's greatly appreciated by them. The family would like me to invite you all back to the Pilot House Restaurant, which is at number 14 Gallo Road in Sandwich, and there is some directions here for those folks, so if you do have the time, the family would greatly appreciate it if you could join them there to celebrate, his life. I'd also just like to take a moment to explain to you folks that if you've not been here before to the cemetery is open dusk to dawn every day. And the interment's going to take place right away as soon as you folks all leave, but you're more than welcome to come back at any time to visit the grave site. When you come in the main entrance like you did earlier, there's an office building there, and in front of the office building there is a directory, and you can put in Brendan's name and it will tell you the location of where he is. So feel free, and if for some reason the directory, if you're having trouble with it, please just go right in the offices. The people here are nothing but great, and they will point you right to the direction where you can come and visit. So once again, we thank you. And if you want to say something, you okay, Maureen?
I want to say the last word.
Absolutely. all you.
Everything that Brendan did his whole life, he certainly earned this. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to respectfully ask that you do return your cars and proceed to leave the cemetery, or at least the shelter area. There are other funeral services scheduled. Just follow the road here to your right and another right, and there'll be exit signs for you. Thank you all. Nice job.